Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and as you can see, I am covered with tomato sauce. But that's okay. Henry and I have been making tomato sauce all day today. We just got it into the pressure canner, and we're waiting for the water to get going really well and start steaming. But what I am here for today, now that that part is out of the way, these are the only tomatoes left in my kitchen practically now. There's just a couple more over there. We started out this morning literally with 5 baskets of tomatoes. Yeah, slightly ridiculous. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make relish. We have a large quantity of cucumbers hanging around right now, and Henry likes relish. So I said, hey, why don't we make some relish? We haven't tried that before. We made a batch the other day, and that's a dill relish, but this is a different kind of relish that's got slightly different spices in it and also some different veggies. So this is not just onions and cucumbers. It will also have peppers in it, as I recall, and like I say, different spices. So we have not found a handy way to chop up relish in our kitchen other than literally by hand. So that's what I'm going to be doing. If you have something like a Cuisinart or some other sort of food processor, you can probably do this in there. You'll have to experiment a little bit because obviously you don't want to make mush, you want to make small diced vegetables. We just don't happen to have anything like that. To be honest, we don't need it very often, so we just haven't bothered. We did have a non-name brand version a gazillion years ago, back when the name brand versions were just like the price of a used car. So when that died, we didn't replace it. So we do have, however, some excellent knives and some okay knife skills and usually some patience. So I'm just going to go to it and not say much because what can you say about chopping cucumbers? So the first ingredient is 2 quarts of chopped cucumbers. Done. Next one is 2 cups of chopped sweet green peppers and then 2 cups of sweet red peppers. I don't have red peppers, so we're just going to use all green peppers. The only difference will be, these are a sweet pepper anyway, so the only difference will be the colors. You won't get that cool color combination. But I just don't happen to have any right now. These are a Godfather pepper. which is a burpee exclusive. It is simply a sort of a banana pepper shaped pepper that is a sweet, not hot at all, similar to a bell, just a little sweeter than a regular bell pepper. I don't want any seeds in here because that's messy. And that noise means that the tomato sauce is done cooking. It will now be allowed to cool down naturally for quite a while. And then once it's cooled down, we'll open up the kettle and then we will let those sit overnight. Take off the rings, label them, and with any luck we will have, let's see, 10, I think there's 16 jars of, yeah, I think there's 16 jars of pizza sauce in there. Tomato sauce, actually. We don't make spaghetti sauce versus pizza sauce versus anything else. What we do is we make boiled down plain tomato sauce, and it's just an ingredient. That way, if we wanted to make marinara or pizza or something and we wanted to add different herbs and spices and stuff, we can do that because all we have there is basically plain old tomatoes that have been boiled down into a nice thick sauce. If it's too thick, you can always add a little water, won't hurt anything. But it lets you have plenty of room for adding spices and herbs and vegetables and all that other stuff. Okay, what that timer was for is I have to go in the pantry and punch down the dough for the pizza. So I'll be right back. That you guys might like seeing the pizza dough. And what I do is I cheat. My hands are not clean, and a lot of times at this time of day they're not. But I can knock this down just by doing this. It knocks enough of the air out that it's about half of where it was before. And then this guy gets covered up and he goes back in there for another hour and a half. Okay. Cucumbers, peppers, more peppers, 1 cup of chopped onion. This is one of our homegrown onions. This is candy, which is a sweet onion. We grew 2 different kinds this year. We grew candy and we grew duster. And they're both a sweet onion, and we like them both, and they both did well. So that's nice to know, just in case we can't get seeds sometime. Let's see, so we need cucumbers, peppers, and an onion. We're going to combine the veggies in a large bowl and sprinkle with turmeric. This bowl was used for turmeric the other day. You can tell because, see that color to it? It dyes the bowl. Now, eventually that'll come off, but for right now, we'll just ignore it. Won't hurt anything. Now, it says we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of turmeric. Yep, I have just enough for this recipe. Whew, that's not good. I have to make sure I've got more in the... I try and always have back stock on things like this. What's funny is that turmeric is one of those spices that you won't use any for 6 months and then you'll use a bunch in 2 days, which is exactly what I just did. Okay. Now, I'm going to dissolve salt in 2 quarts of cold water and pour over the veggies. I hope we have enough water in the Berkey. Might have to get a bottle of water, we'll see. Half a cup of salt, yeah. I saw fuzz in here earlier. I don't see it now. Ha! There it is. Dissolve the salt in 2 quarts of cold water and pour over the vegetables. This has to sit for 3 to 4 hours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap because I don't want anybody jumping in there. I'm going to clean up the mess. And I'm going to see if the canner... No, I can still hear the canner bubbling. So it's not cool enough to be opened yet. But I think what I can do is check the greenhouse and get a couple more things done. Because this has to sit for 3 or 4 hours. Then we've got to do some rinsing and stuff. Sit it for another hour. Then we have to... Yeah, it's one of those long process things. Probably the most complicated one I ever made was the gherkins. They have to be processed every single day. And yeah, the brine is changed every day and things like that for... Depends on the recipe, but usually about 5 to 7 days. And yeah, so this is nothing in comparison. It's just a big sit down sort of thing. So I'm going to set the timer for 3 hours and probably do it somewhere between 3 and 4. It means I have to limit my beer intake tonight. I know this is a tragedy. I usually only have 1 beer anyway. But I do need a drink of water. So see you later. It's 3.5 hours later. And that means that it's time to do the next step of this process. So the relish has been sitting here for 3.5 hours. And now it says I'm supposed to drain it. Okay, I can do that, I think. 1 giant thing down, because this is not full, so. Smells like yums, raw yums. Let's see. I wonder how well this will work. Let's try. It's not too bad. I was afraid to use a colander because I was afraid it might lose too much of the stuff. But seeing how it does now, it's actually doesn't look like it'll lose much, if anything. Now all I have to do is put 2 quarts of cold water over it and let it stand for an hour. And now we're going to set this for 1 hour, then we're going to drain it thoroughly, and then we're going to basically put the pickling stuff in it. We're going to add sugar and vinegar and spices and bring it to a boil, pour over the vegetables, cover, let stand 12 to 18 hours. We'll see you in another hour. Tick, tick, tick. Okay, it's been an hour and we're back. So while this hour was going on, I got a few things ready. First thing I did was get my bowl ready to go and my colander so I'll be able to drain this. Now, what we have to do now is we have to pour this out of its other bowl and into this bowl and let it drain well.